So this afternoon we have Gunjan Kumar, my old friend, now Chief Revenue Officer at Loyyal. So Gunjan, thanks today for joining. Really appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much, Paolo. I really appreciate it.
Look, Gunjan, you and I have known each other for a while, and you're certainly a well-respected veteran in the loyalty space. Loyyal, you introduced to me last week, and I think it's a super exciting organization. And I really thought great opportunity for you to come talk to us a bit about what Loyyal is doing, right? And then we can dig in a little bit more into your industry expertise and knowledge and experience. Okay, so why don't you just tell me a bit about Loyyal and what you guys are doing? Yeah.
True. I think one of the most important elements in the challenges in the loyalty industry has always been how do you cater to partnerships? Loyalty programs either are doing well or not doing well, depending on how well the earn and burn partnerships actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the times, the partnerships take a lot of time to actually get delivered because there are many challenges. And the challenges are just not the resources, but the challenges stemming from the fact on integration, on making sure that you have the right IT resources available in the organization to make it happen.
Right.
And most importantly, you have the desire and the willingness to be able to negotiate these contracts on and on and on and on and on. I think what Loyyal brings to the table is one single product called Access Point, wherein both the program operators and the merchants can come on a single platform via single API plugins on both sides and make sure that the integration is seamless through one single API thing. The merchant configuration is seamless with the merchant integration framework. And then we use something called smart contracts built on blockchain
Right.
to negotiate the contracts within the platform. So all the three hidden challenges actually get settled in through the access point that is built by Loyyal.
Understood. Yeah, look, I think that you're right. I think that the ecosystem is undoubtedly very complicated, right? It's messy, right? You know, the reality is that a loyalty program in a large organization, you know, ultimately what they're trying to do is deliver value to their consumers and really, let's say, engage with them with personalized product. How do you help your customers, you know, get to that point of success of personalization, right? Because I think that's the, you know, that's the gold everybody's digging for, right? Is how to get that personal one-on-one engagement where it says, right, Gunjan has something here that is really important to me. They understand who I am as a consumer. You know, they know what drives me. They know what keeps me connected. And accordingly, I'm not even going to look elsewhere because I know I can get the product that I need. And I know that they're going to engage with me with something that really focuses on my loyalty rather than this broad spectrum of, you know, maybe I'm not so interested in a spa as a reward, but I'm much more interested in a new technology device or something like that.
You are
right?
absolutely right. You know, I think you have hit the nail on the head, and the reason is very simple. Because initially, when you saw, people were looking at core rewards as the offering,
Right.
and that's, for example, if I take an airline, the core reward for an airline is basically two things: either you give them a free ticket, or you give them a lounge access, or maybe you give them additional luggage or anything of those kinds. You know?
Correct. Yeah.
Now, what has happened is everybody has understood that the touch points needs to be beyond the core redemption or the core earnings. And people are moving from the core redemption or the core earnings to lifestyle engagement.
Mm-hmm.
The minute people understand, as you rightly said, if you are looking more to travel and I give you a spa voucher, it is meaningless to you. But if I understand your characteristic and I understand that you are looking to do A, B, and C, and my redemption options or my options to engage with you are exactly for those A, B, and C, then it makes a difference. And that's where a lot of reporting, a lot of analytical understanding, and making sure that people's viewpoint, their lifestyle characteristics are actually accounted for.
Right. And how do you do that?
We actually do collect a lot of information. I think that is exactly the reason why for us having this network with merchants and making sure that every transaction gets analyzed both from a program standpoint and from a merchant standpoint. Because what happens is you have got programs that will drive this engagement, but the actual engagement is happening at the merchant level, which is beyond the core redemptions or the core earning. So if you do not understand the merchant ecosystem and you don't understand what the member is doing, where and what is he actually transacting on, then it becomes very difficult. And that kind of data sits with us for us to really analyze and understand, yes, this is what's going to drive engagement, this is what's going to drive value, and most importantly, incremental spend, because an engaged member will always spend more.
Right. Understood. Let's switch to what you were talking about with regards to using the blockchain for smart contracts.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think there's been a lot of discussion about obviously the blockchain and the great benefits it can bring to the business world and to the consumer, etc. I think often there's a lot of confusion between blockchain, crypto. Is it a financial transaction? When you talk about smart contracts, can you explain, let's say, to the users a little bit how you're using smart contracts in order to, let's say, facilitate, obviously, the economics of, let's say, more efficiency fundamentally, right?
True.
And how that actually translates into, let's say, a business process that's actually beneficial in the end.
So
right?
I would like to divide your question into two parts. One is the usage of smart contracts driven through blockchain technology, and the other is the loyalty economics. So let me answer the loyalty economics second,
Sure.
and let me answer
Makes
the
sense.
first thing on smart contracts. So basically, a Loyyal is built on the Hyperledger fabric. We
Okay.
use the fabric to actually build the entire blockchain infrastructure. Now, the product or the use case that we have to start with is access point, but we have got a ton of other use cases that can very easily be brought up to the market based on the same blockchain infrastructure. Now, what happens is, if you look, a lot of companies wanted to build blockchain offerings, and initially, if you look, the way it all happened was people were trying to sell the blockchain infrastructure itself, and they were trying to replace the current existing IT infrastructure with the blockchain infrastructure, which was untried, not tested, and nobody knew whether it is compliant, easy to use, what's going to happen. So that's the reason why blockchain really never took off. But now with Web3 coming into the picture, and a lot of companies, I was reading an article that out of the top 100 companies, there is already 40 to 43 companies who already have a Web3 portfolio that is very aggressively being looked into. So just imagine, if the top 100, out of the top 100, if 44 of them are looking into it, then there is some seriousness. So what we have done is, using the blockchain infrastructure, we have created the smart contracts, and within our application, the smart contracts basically ties up to the entire loyalty ecosystem. And how does that work? So if you look at, and this is where loyalty economics comes into the picture. So for example, the internal cost of the point, or the earn point value, or the burn point value, all of this get structured, and the analysis and the actual currency conversion happens within the platform, and this gets recorded on the smart contracts as terms and conditions.
Got it.
So what is happening is, you are not signing the physical 20 pages partnership contract, but you sign a smart contract with the actual commercial terms and agreement, and that gets recorded on the blockchain. Then that can get tied up with your current partnership contract, and it's very easy to actually do. The advantage is that if it is a closed network of people who are working it, because we're not looking at a Bitcoin or a Binance or Polygon, which is basically open-ended, so we actually do a closed end. So the visibility of the smart contracts is only between the people who are among them.
Right.
And this is one of the key advantages of actually using a smart contract.
Understood. Yeah.
Now, on the loyalty economic side, I think it's quite important that people understand that it is not just easy to go and start a program. The program needs to be merited, number one. And number two, it needs to have the right financials, because a lot of people don't understand that loyalty currency is also a currency, and it has a value. And if it is not accounted properly, and it is not implemented well, then the program doesn't make money. So I think it's a combination of all of this that actually comes through from a smart contract technology and building it on blockchain.
So I think that you're now opening the door, Gunjan, for me to talk to you a little bit about your overall experience, right? I mean, you have had obviously, more experience than most in this space. And perhaps you could just give me a little bit of kind of your opinion on what do you think would be the basic ingredients for success for an organization that is looking to launch a loyalty program. Let's say, look, there's lots of programs out there, some successful, some not so much, right? But let's say I had an organization now, I built it to scale, right? I have a significant customer base and I'm operating in a competitive environment, right? I've never had a loyalty program, so I have the benefit of starting with a clean sheet, right? I pull you in as an advisor, like, Gunjan, help me out. How do I do this right? Because it's not core to most organizations, right? They don't start with a loyalty department. It's one of those things that you say, I'm going to focus on commercial, I'm going to focus on tech, I'm going to focus on operations. Then I maybe bring in HR, right? And now my organization's machine's starting to run. Now I start looking at my consumers and saying, okay, apart from giving them good product at a good price, how do I keep them, right? So give me a bit of advice here.
See, for me, the first and the foremost thing is, why do you need a loyalty program? I think I would like to first start with this question, because a lot of people don't understand that not everything is loyalty. You can have shades of loyalty. So you can have an engagement program that is not loyalty. You can have a program that is driven on campaign, which is not a loyalty. So the first and the foremost thing is, do you really need a loyalty program? And what are you trying to achieve by implementing a loyalty program? Once that is confirmed and firmed up, the next step is, okay, have you decided who is your customer segment? What are you going to engage them for? Why do they need a program? Does your brand actually associate with something? Does it actually merit to have a program in first place? And that is the second question that they need to look into. Once the first and the second step is done, which is probably the most important thing, a lot of programs don't do this due diligence to start with.
Yep.
Once you do this, then it comes the actual 9 years. What is the vision of your program? How do you really want to engage with your customers? Have you done the loyalty economics or not? Do you understand what should be your cost per point? Do you really figure out what are the different elements that is required? Then what is your earn rate, your burn rate? Then actually comes the technology. So before one gets to the technology, there are at least 10 of these steps that needs to be done before you start to talk about a technology and then say, okay, guys, now I want to get into a market with an RFP to select a particular vendor or a technology expert. But before that, all of this needs to happen. And once you do the technology, then it comes, okay, what about your engagement? How are you going to have your a partner network? Is it going to be a core rewards? What's going to be a non-core reward strategy? And how are you going to actually offer all of this? Then are you going to also look at making some money from your program? So then you can get into merchant funded programs and all of those kind of stuff. So I think it all boils down to what you want to achieve in the end. But in terms of the process, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it needs to be this way.
Yeah, it's a program.
It's a program.
At the end of the day. Good. Yeah, understood. I learned something today, Gunjan. I learned a lot. So again, it's fantastic to engage with you. I really love the opportunity to speak with you. Every time we sit together, I learn something new. Right. So
thank you very much, Paolo, for taking the time as well. This is absolute pleasure. And I hope and I wish you all the success as well with your new board meeting and everything, and hope to see you very soon.
Very good. Thanks, Gunjan. All the best of luck with you and Loyyal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.